From the moment we wake up in the morning to the moment our head hits the pillow at night, we are making decisions. But when it comes to our financial decisions, we all seem to wake up in very different places. So that got me thinking, is having wealth or not having wealth a choice? Is it a result of the decisions that we make every single day? I believe it is, and I'm going to tell you why. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can choose how we react to those circumstances." And I think every day life is happening around us and we are reacting. And that gives us the opportunity to do what? Make a decision. Now we need to make a decision, and that's going to lead us down one path or another path. And financially, there are many paths to choose from. And of course, these decisions we are making in today's economy, well, they all seem to cost us money and lead us down one path or the other. I think we all seem to know that person who, no matter what they do, is always broke. They never seem to have enough money. They always seem to be spending down to zero. They're always waiting on their next paycheck. And we also know that person that maybe it seems that everything they touch turns to gold. I've known many investors like that, and many of my personal friends. They seem to hear about an opportunity and dive in, and they manage to do well with it and somehow come out on top. Well, we're all making decisions, and it's going to lead us to wake up in one financial position or another financial position. And hopefully I can teach you some things today that are going to help you land in the right financial position. One of the things that I like to do is about once a week, I'll go into my shop and I'll buy coffee for everybody. Something nice I like to do once a week. Usually I'll do it on a Friday or a Saturday, but every once in a while, I'll do it at the beginning of the week. If we have a big event coming up, or we're going to be working late, or we're spending the day doing something very difficult, I'll kind of show up with, coffee and donut treats for everybody. Well, I used to have this employee. We'll call him Willie. And Willie, great employee, really good. We loved having him around the shop. And it just seemed to me that no matter what day I stopped in to get coffee, I would run into Willie. Obviously, we worked at the same place, and I was his boss, his employer, but he would stop there and he would get coffee. And I kind of came to the conclusion that he went there every single day. Because whether I stopped in on a Monday, or I stopped in on a Friday, or I stopped in on a Wednesday, he would be there having his coffee and donut in the morning. But the thing I found interesting is that I said, well, I'm not sure that he should be spending, at his income level, just eating out every single morning. Sure enough, one day it came to pass that he comes into my office on a Monday after a long weekend, and he says, Daniel, can I have an advance on my week's pay? Can I have my paycheck early? And I said, well, how much do you need? And he said, well, the whole check, I need the whole check. And I said, what's going on? And he said, well, the first happened over the weekend. It was a long weekend. I wasn't really paying attention. And, I'm late on my rent. And I said, how much are you late on your rent? And he said, $200 or so. I said, okay, but you need your whole check. And he said, yes, I need the whole check. I said, well, you're a good employee. You show up on time. You do a good job. I think we can work that out. That's not the problem. I said, but aren't you the same guy that I see just about every day? Any day that I would stop, you're in that coffee shop that I go to? And he said, yeah, I go there, for breakfast every day. And I said, well, how much do you spend? And he said, about $6 or $7. He goes, but that's not the issue. That's not why, I can't pay my rent. And I said, well, it's not the issue, but it may be part of the issue. So you have to understand something about Willie. He was a man's man, and he liked man stuff. And he was constantly coming into work with these gadgets, that guys like. He'd bring in a, cool digital pocket watch, or he'd bring in a LED flashlight that did 6 different things, or a pocket knife that did 20 different things. He'd have cell phone holders for his motorcycle or his pickup truck. He was always buying gadgets, little things that he thought were cool. And of course, he was spending money on this. So I'm not even getting into that. I'm not even going to address those habits. I'm going to stick with this one little habit of having coffee every day. See, it's not something that's going to make or break him, but it was something that was contributing to the problem. Let's just say that he didn't spend that $30. Let's say he spent the money on coffee at home, which we know is still going to cost something. I mean, that's probably going to cost $10 or $20 a month to have breakfast at home and buy coffee, but it goes a lot further. It goes a long way. I know, because that's what I do, and I don't need to do it as much as he needs to do it, but I do it anyway because it's better for my wallet. If he had taken that $30 and his habit wasn't to spend it on breakfast every week, but to save it, and he put $30 away, that is $120 a month. By my math, that's $1,440 a year, and had just done something else I love to do with that, which is just dump it into a high yield savings account. I'm not saying you have to invest in a CD or an annuity or any kind of bond. Just put it in a savings account where you have access to it. But a high yield savings account now in 2025 is giving you between 4 and 5%, which is an outstanding rate of return for not having to tie it up in anything long term. If he had done that, $1,440 a year magically turns into $1,500 to $1,510 every year. If he was doing that for even a couple of years, he has over $3,000. With over $3,000 in the bank, I don't think he would be in a position where he was coming to me looking for $200. You see, on this, me and Willie were going to have to agree to disagree. He doesn't think that a $5 or $6 or $7 a day habit amounts to anything, and I think just the opposite. I think if you put $5 here, $10 there, $12 there, but you do it on a regular enough basis and you're spending it, then it goes into the negative column. It's taking away from the health and wealth of your finances. But the same thing is true if you do it in the other direction. If you take $5 or $10 and you consistently put it somewhere and have it earn a little bit of interest for you, or at least just save it in a POM account, a peace of mind account, well, you would have peace of mind and you would not be looking for $200 to pay your rent or any more money to get through the week. See, ultimately, he's really going to feel this at the end of this week where I advance him the money, because Friday's going to come and he's not going to be getting a paycheck, and he's really going to be hurting even more because he has overspent in previous weeks and now he's starting out the next week behind the 8 ball. This is a financial spiral that many people go through. The bottom line here is habits will determine where you end up. And these habits are just a simple result of daily choices we make daily, hourly, monthly, weekly, yearly, and something as small as a $5 or $6 habit, which unfortunately most of you have much bigger habits than that, and it adds up in the negative column because you are spending it. You are literally looking for ways to spend your money. Whereas if you take that $30 a week or $5 habit or $10 habit or $6 habit and you put it in the savings column, it builds up just as fast, even faster, because with compounding interest, you are actually now making money on that money that would have been in your negative column. So the truth about, is wealth a choice? Well, of course it's a choice. We are making choices every day, and we are making them in everything we do. From the moment we wake up to the time our head hits the pillow, we've made choices. The real result actually is whether that choice has made a benefit or a negative to your financial future. So ultimately, what defines real wealth? Ultimately, what defines true wealth? Maybe saving $30 a week is not going to make you wealthy and maybe not make you the richest man or woman in the world, but what it is doing is instituting a habit that the wealthy have. It's instituting a future in where you are choosing to put money in a certain place so that you have it later. Maybe true wealth is just being able to pay your bills. Maybe true wealth is having the opportunity to not have to worry about money so much. In conclusion, I just want to state that true wealth is just a result of small decisions that we make on a regular basis, and maybe a few larger decisions that we make along the way. And if you can learn to change your habits, then you are just naturally going to make better decisions, because you're always going to choose saving and the health of your bank account over spending and immediate gratification. My name is Daniel F. Margasa. You are watching the Almost Criminal Millionaire channel. If you enjoy the topic of money and learning about the health and wealth of your finances, then please like and subscribe for more.